This is a part 2. For those who haven't seen part 1 yet, there's a link on screen now and in the description. The following is intended as a parody of CinemaSins, not a critique of Solo. And when I say it's a parody, I mean it's a parody. Not, I want to use the CinemaSins format without being criticized for plagiarizing it. Not that I have anything against channels that do that, it's not what parody means, friends. Oh, and by the way, I am fully aware that the last part ended with the sin counter being at 69 sins. I may not have done that intentionally, but I do like it when things just happen to work out.
Don't look at anybody, just keep your eyes down.
Why has Chewie got that extra strap on that thing he wears around his chest? In the original trilogy it's just one band, so why make this unnecessary change? Also, why does Chewie just wear this one thing in the first place? Either he wears clothes or he doesn't. Pick one, you dicks. What language is that? You don't care, the movie doesn't care. Does anyone care? Because I don't think they do. Wait, so she's just done singing now? That was it? I know that we've literally just arrived at this place and have no idea how long she's been performing for, but why would a performance ever have an ending? Also, that green thing in a jar is still weird.
What are you doing here?
I work here.
And why are you speaking English? Are you telling me that all the way out here in space, England exists? How could England exist in space? There's no gravity. And also, why would you do this? Beckett just told Han not to talk to anybody, and yet Han still goes and approaches Kira. It's been like 2 years since you've seen her, dude. Get over it.
I thought about you a lot. I imagined myself with you. It always made me...
Kira never finishes the sentence, but I for one would very much like to know how it was going to end.
Wait, you two work together?
Wait, you're only figuring this out now? They arrived together. Plus, we just saw them trying to steal the Calaxium from the space train, which by the way is a mission that's completely stupid they managed to fail.
Tobias!
Right.
Wait, what? I thought this guy's name was Beckett. Now you're telling me it's Tobias? I guess no one working on this movie was tasked with keeping track of very basic things like this.
I need you to give me a reason not to kill you.
I will make it up to you.
No. How? How will you make it up to me?
That's a good question. How will Beckett, or I guess Tobias now, make it up to him? That seems like a pretty important question that the movie never even attempts to answer. Also, who even is this Drazdan guy? He's apparently really important in this cartel, yet we've never heard of him before in any other Star Wars movie. It seems to me like Disney just wanted to make up another villain without actually caring whether or not it made sense. Fine, so they decide Lando is the best option to get what they need, so they go to see him. But do we really need to see Han meet Lando? You see, I figured out that a lot of people who don't actually watch the movies watch my videos anyway, so I tend to include meaningless sins like this that just tell people what's happening in the film, so if they haven't actually seen the film, they can keep up with my video. It's a pretty neat trick, huh? I'm pretty sure no one's noticed I'm doing it yet.
Just players.
The seat taken?
Nobody's in the seat, then it ain't taken, friend.
Lando would be excellent at CinemaSins. Also, friend? Really? Didn't you guys just meet?
So this is, Sabak?
Sabak.
Sabak.
You played before?
Couple times, yeah.
Han deliberately mispronounces Sabak, then he claims he's only ever played it a couple of times before. Obviously this is just a trick to make people think he's less experienced with the game than he actually is. And Lando should not fall for this. Kira just said he's a serious gambler, and he should be used to tricks like this. Obviously Han is lying, but because the movie needs to have a plot, Lando is going to fall for this anyway.
Can I ask you a question, Captain Calrissian?
Anything, Han? It's Han.
This is a clever way to explain away the inconsistencies of how Han's name was pronounced in the original trilogy, but the CinemaSins format is a rigid one that only really allows for criticism, or very occasionally only very strong praise. So I'm just going to say something like, this is clever, but did we really need to know this? And move on.
I don't think I'd have the nerve to gamble with something I love as much as my ship.
What do you fly?
VCX-100.
Wait, what? If Han already has a ship, why is he here? Surely he can just use the ship he already has to complete the mission. Also, why would he say this? Obviously now Lando is going to want to try and take that ship. He should really have kept this a secret. Wait, so Han is winning? But just a couple of minutes ago he didn't even know how to pronounce the name of this game correctly. But now he's apparently good enough at it to go up against experts? Bullshit.
Straight staves.
Movie expects me to be able to understand what's happening in this game without ever explaining the rules, and movie is wrong.
You played me.
You're good.
Of course, Lando needs to tell the audience, I mean Han, that he just made a good move, in case it wasn't already obvious from the applause, Han's smug face, or just the way that Han put the cards on the table and announced what he had. I get it, movie, I don't need my hand held through every scene.
But not good enough. What's a buck?
One character thinks they've won a poker game before the other character shows their hand cliché. Also, Lando wins, meaning he saw through Han's trick at the beginning. We later find out he cheated, so why even bother trying to see through these tricks? That seems a little bit redundant if you're just gonna cheat. Okay, so L3 is actually a really controversial character, so I'm just going to pick out a small thing about her that actually has nothing to do with the reason people don't like her in the first place, and send that every time she shows up. That way people who like her should be happy, people who don't like her should be happy, and I've not actually raised any controversy by actually addressing the issue. Okay, here we go. I get that loads of you like L3 and all, and that's fine, but you have to admit that it's super dumb that no one would have just reprogrammed her at this point. She's a droid and she's not following instructions. Why would you just let her carry on doing that? I dislike her non-committally.
She's definitely going.
Oh, why? Because you're my organic overlord?
Yet more reasons that someone should have definitely just reprogrammed L3.
You know, a lot of ships around here get boosted. So I keep mine locked up.
Lando's position.
Look away. I can't perform with you looking at me.
Of course, it's not enough that it makes no sense her character would exist in the first place. Now she's got to be an I can't do it with you watching cliche as well.
Your plan is underway, Emphas. We've attached the homing beacon. They won't elude us now.
If they survive, they'll bring the prize to us.
Of course, because in a universe where homing beacons exist, you know, much like the real universe that we actually live in, ships aren't fitted with scanners that can tell you whether or not they're being tracked. Just like, again, in the real world. I don't know why he has a problem with this. He says this every time there's like a ship tracked in Star Wars, and I don't get it.
Get your presumptuous ass out of my seat.
Why is L3 British? I mean, sure, C-3PO is British, and that works great, but not every droid has to be C-3PO.
No, you can't wipe them off. They're holograms.
Holograms? Holograms? Ah! No, seriously, he always sins it when, like, holograms appear on screen, and I don't get it. He just seems to hate them irrationally. Big space cloud reminds me of parallax, something I definitely didn't need to be reminded of.
That young male's heart fluctuations tell me he's in love with you.
Han is not in love with me.
Skip. Wait, so the Millennium Falcon is just flying through space clouds? Also space clouds. Parallax. Discount Bespin.
Mining colonies are the worst.
Then why would you go to one?
Yeah, well, the worst is where the money is.
Unlikely. So Daenerys punches Han here, and it turns out this was just a way for her to give him the dice without anyone noticing. And I'm still here wondering why the movie decided to make a big deal out of the dice. Does anyone actually care about this? Also, why would you choose the one moment to give Han the dice that you have to do it in secret by pretending to punch him? Could you not have just handed him the dice at literally any other time? Wait, computer monitors? I thought they used holograms in this universe. Surely either one or the other is better. Why would you switch between them like this?
Do you mind holding this for me?
This works. Do you want an explanation of why it shouldn't? Haha, fuck you!
I don't know. Free your brothers and sisters or something. Just give me some space.
Brothers and sisters? But droids don't have genders, do they? Please pay no attention to the fact I've been calling L3 she throughout this video. Also, L3 is a blatant attempt to replicate the success of K2SO from Rogue One by having a droid with a strong personality. But L3 falls so far from being the same as K2SO that it's laughable. Stop trying to copy something by doing something very different to it when you could be doing a better job by doing something more original and also making L3 more like K2SO. Hey, you know how these sockets that appear in Star Wars movies are very clearly some kind of universal socket? I'm now going to complain about the practicality of that design by saying something like, if only the bad guys in these movies had made their bases less L3 compatible, they would have won this shit.
If only the bad guys in these movies had made their ships less R2 compatible, they would have won this shit.
L3 accidentally causes a revolution. And now Han accidentally causes a slave revolution. Great.
I created a distraction!
Wait, why has no one thought to reprogram L3?
Hey, remember what Beckett said, stick to the plan.
Han is right. Beckett did say to stick to the plan, and that definitely would be the logical decision here. But despite that fact, Chewbacca's still gonna go and try and save the Wookiees anyway, because this movie just needed more revolutions, I guess. Well, someone's played Fallout.
The Calrissian Chronicles, Chapter 5. Continued.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure what pop culture reference Jeremy is going to make here, but I'm 90% sure he is going to make one. And I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a very short clip where Jeremy compares Lando to YouTubers or something. I'm thinking something along the lines of, this movie turns Lando into X. Or YouTube Wars. Or maybe he'll just, like, say the name of someone who might do something like this.
I'm so glad we took this job!
That droid.
Why don't you reprogram her already? You see, I'm hoping that this will not piss off anyone who likes L3's like the her activism stuff, but it will also like keep everyone who hates her satisfied. Chewbacca ex machina. Chewbacca. Okay, hang on a second. I'm actually just going to have to break character here to genuinely ask, what were they expecting to do if the revolution didn't happen? Like, how were they expecting to just wheel all of this stuff out here? Okay, back into character. Okay, so Jay talks about getting back into character, even though he already did that in part 1, because Jay doesn't have any more original ideas, I guess. It's not even enough that he has a total boner for responding to CinemaSins videos. Now he's responding to one that isn't even out yet. Okay, I'm there. Shooting! Battle! L3 raises a good point. Where actually are the rebels? These guys have been keeping slaves. Are we really supposed to believe the rebels don't care about that? What is he even shooting at? Highly trained guard gets taken out by one measly blaster bolt.
They're going for the landing gear! We've got to get out of here!
Wait, the landing gear? Isn't that what the ship uses to land, not take off? Why is that a problem?
L3!
L3. Also, I hate to be that guy, but if you'd reprogrammed her already, this totally wouldn't have happened. Ha 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 ha. See, I don't think I can beat Birdman on this one. I think he nailed the fake laugh so perfectly that, like, why even try? Kira says this, and then immediately the movie cuts back to Han and Beckett trying to make their way back to the Falcon, showing us that they were not, in fact, just standing around. Also, Kira would be excellent at CinemaSins.
I can fix you.
Landing.
What's happening?
Movie tries to make me care about L3's death, and movie fails. This is not like K2SO's death. Stop trying to make her similar to K2SO. She's too different.
The cargo we're carrying, if we don't make up some lost time, we're going to be in real trouble.
And if you didn't decide to go back for L3, you wouldn't even be behind in the first place. God, people caring about things just makes me so mad. And also, I'm pretty sure they need her to actually, like, escape anyway, don't they? Yeah, they do. Discount ship from the Fifth Element.
I got a really good feeling about this.
Subversion. TIE fighter punting. Okay, so in this scene, a thing happens. Fine. But this other thing could have happened. So why didn't that thing happen instead of the thing that did happen?
Remember that alley we slipped through in the Santee shipyards?
Wow, how convenient that things we saw earlier in the film just happened to be relevant to its climax.
She is a hell of a ship.
Irony. So, what's the name of this planet? Why did they come here? I mean, I know it was explained at the beginning, but does the movie really expect me to remember that?
Everyone serves somebody, Han. Even Dryden Voss.
More cameo shadowing.
I'm a terrible person.
Hey! They say when the coaxiums are fine, we collect it up there.
The C in Beckett must stand for cockblock. What a surprise! It's the Kylo Ren ripoff with the dumb horns. But what is she doing here exactly? And just like Kylo Ren, she's a lot less threatening once her mask comes off. I get it, you want to show her face so that you can see her expressions or some shit, but maybe I wanted a villain I could actually be scared of.
My mother once told me.
Smash Mouth.
Crimson Dawn and the rest of the 5 syndicates have committed unspeakable crimes across the galaxy.
The movie tries to play this off like it's some kind of big revelation, but the fact that this crime syndicate has been doing crimes is not a twist. It just makes sense. Also, all of these crimes committed by Crimson Dawn sound like they make a much more interesting story. Why are we not seeing that instead of this?
We're not marauders. We're allies. The war's just begun.
Wait, so they're the rebels? And because no one working on this film has any original ideas of their own, here's another desert planet, in case you don't remember Tatooine. Also, movie reminds me of dessert, and now I'm hungry. Food boner. Wait, is that the sea? I thought this was supposed to be a desert planet. You don't get water in deserts. Damn, I know there are a lot of people out there that love this movie, but even you've got to admit that this is pretty stupid.
I knew it.
Did you not just find out that Crimson Dawn are the bad guys? Why would you go back here?
Can you come in and join us, please?
And now we have the fourth big twist in what feels like 5 minutes. First it turns out that Beckett is actually Tobias, then we find out Crimson Dawn are evil, then we find out that the Marauders are actually the rebels, and then it turns out that Tobias double-crossed them. This movie tries to have all the twists, and it's infuriating. Just pick one plot and stick to it.
You told Chewie people are predictable. You're no exception.
You get a twist, and you get a twist! Wait, so where's the space battle? Is this not a Star Wars movie? Who goes to a Star Wars movie thinking, you know what, I hope this ends with a small fight between a couple of people in a small room? This movie dares to try something new, and that infuriates me. Also, it's too derivative of other films. Wow, I guess Vision can't catch a break.
Where is the shipment now?
Oh, you thought you were going to get a sequel. Darth Maul? What? Didn't he die in Phantom Menace? How is he still alive? No one ever dies for real in these movies, I guess.
It was never about you.
And of course, now that Beckett is the villain, Hahn is just gonna let him monologue, because what this movie really needed was a villain monologue cliche.
Because now I'm going to tell you the most important.
Well, that seemed a little unnecessary.
What?
A rebellion.
So they were the rebels. I'm glad we could put that completely pointless plotline to rest. Huzzah!
You want a rematch?
Why not?
This isn't an end credit scene, but it might as well be. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It really has been fun to make. If for some reason you've watched this part without watching part 1, I'll link part 1 on screen now. If you happen to be watching this in the future and I've done more CinemaSins parodies like this one, I'll link a playlist of them on screen now as well, under the CinemaSins playlist section. Other than that, I'll see you on Sunday for a Sunday video. Goodbye.